Hello guys, Termex here, and welcome back to another New World video. Now in today's video, I want to discuss things that I originally did not want to post or even bring up the topic of conversation, because generally with these type of videos, it just brings on a more toxic part of the community and a less of an open-minded part of the community. It's more or less just people arguing in the comments and saying this person's wrong, this person's right, this person's wrong. And that's why I haven't posted in about 2 weeks. That, and on top of the holidays, I just been taking holiday breaks with family. But today, I do want to talk about some lingering PvP issues within New World. I'm approaching 1,000 hours on the game. No, I'm not a veteran. No, I'm not the pro of all pros, but I have to say I have some valid playtime within this game to at least have some sort of opinion that is deemed valid. So the first thing I do want to talk about is the New World's broken war glitch that they half patched with the winter update. That is also another reason why I delayed this, because I was like, a lot of these fixes might come with the winter update, so this video will be useless. But no, they're still there. And if you do not know, this glitch is where when there's a war going on, if you are the defending team, this actually happened to us. I will pop a clip on stream. If you're the defending team in war and the other team that's attacking captured no points, they destroyed none of your walls, they could glitch into your fort and just take your point and win the war. Simple as that. They can glitch into the fort. I do not know how to glitch this, and even if I did know how to glitch this, I would not put it up on YouTube to ruin other people's experiences within the game, because that's just kind of a dick move, and I don't want to spread that information out. But it is a problem, and when we went to the New World forums talking about this, they said, we know it's a pain in the ass, we know this sucks, but there's really nothing we could do until we fix it. And I truly hate those type of responses when it comes to devs and video games in general. I hate it when they're just like, okay, deal with it till we fix it, and then pretend it never happened. Now, me personally, I've never been a personal fan of this when it comes to people dedicating literal real-life days putting gear together, putting a strat together, and winning a war, and all of that just to be tarnished by some dude that glitched into the fort and took the win. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, only noobs go against this glitch and lose. You should know by now. But that's the point. If the game was working as intended, we shouldn't be sitting here wondering if somebody is glitching the game and ruining the experience for everyone else. This is a PvP game at the end of the day, and it takes a lot of grinding. New World is a grindy game, right? So that's really my biggest gripe on this video, but now I want to get into more of the PvP balance issues, and this is where people are going to be a little bit more swayed from one side to the other. But please keep the comments in today's video as civil as possible. Express your opinions. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But the first thing I do want to talk about is the muskets. Not the fact that the musket is underperforming, but the fact it is literally the best ranged weapon in the game at the moment. Literally the easiest ranged weapon to use with the highest damage gap and the lowest skill gap. Isn't that crazy? I want to talk about this. Now, I want to put a picture into your head really quick. What ranged weapons do we really have within New World? Now, we have the ice gauntlet, we have the fire staff, we have the bow and arrow, we have the muskets, we have the great axe. I'm kidding. It's not long range anymore. Those are the main four weapons I could say are viable range DPS, if you guys would agree. I wouldn't put Life Staff in there as it's not a DPS weapon, and Void Gauntlet isn't really used at range, let's be honest here. So with all of these things said, out of these four weapons, what do you think is the best weapon out of all of them? When it comes to raw range, the musket outbeats all these guys in every single category. It has no drop-off, it has infinite bullet distance, it is the only hit-scan range weapon, it is the fastest shooting range DPS weapon in the game, it has damage over time, it has stamina stagger. It has all these things going for it. But what's the downfall? Are you going to say the downfall is a slow reload? Well, the slow reload isn't really that existent anymore. The reload speed base is only 2 seconds, and we still have the ability to where a dodge triggers an automatic reload. So fire rate's not the downfall. Being a sitting duck really isn't the downfall, because if you're sitting on a cliff using the musket sniper perk, that gives you 3 times magnification. Yeah, 3 times magnification. What's going to hit you? Bows have drop off, and by the time they see the arrow coming towards them, they're simply just going to move to the side. And Fireball from Fire Staff, I believe, is the only thing that really counters this in a way. Because Fire Staff's normal projectiles alongside Ice Gauntlets have a dedicated range to where they eventually just dissipate. And this promotes a lack of counterplay with this, and I know people are going to say, oh, well, you use the bow. You're just complaining. You're complaining because you hit for so much damage. Why are you crying about this? For me personally, yes, the bow is a great damage dealing ranged weapon. I think it's one of the largest skill gap weapons in the game. You have to lead your shots, you have to dedicate range drop off. Critical hits are basically the only form of doing damage when it comes to going against a good tank. The rest of it's just tickling them to death. So, me personally, I like counterplay within PvP aspects, and the musket has none other than another musket. And it's the only weapon in the game that has this type of stature to it. And for me, it just calls for bad balancing. This isn't Call of Duty. You know what I mean? I don't want to get snipe camped from a dude on a rock in Outpost Rush, especially when they're on a glitched rock that you cannot get up to unless you go to the backside, and they could just shoot down at you. So what are you going to do in the first place? So yeah, that's my big gripe with musket, lack of counterplay. Let me know what you guys think. Now, the next thing in PvP I do want to talk about is what I like to call potion chugging. If you don't know what potion chugging is, there is a perk in this game that allows you to drink a mana potion and get partial benefits as if it was a health potion. And on top of that, you can drink a normal health potion and a regeneration potion, and you could eat food. All these four things stack upon one another. They all have separate cooldowns, and they are a big crutch in PvP situations. A lot of people are going to say, well, that's just how the game is. That's part of the game. That's how you get good. Learn how to PvP, scrub. I agree with potions being a part of the game, but when it comes to a point where you're in a fight with a guy, you get him down to one tap, you are the clear winner of this fight. They whip out a mana potion, they drink that, get some health, drink their normal health, eat some food, chomp away. They're back at full health, and they have this insane health regeneration while you're stuck here doing nothing. They're basically dedicating more resources to staying alive just for them to win the fight, and entirely within itself, I don't have a problem with this. You're using what you have to your advantage, and that's what PvP is. That's the main mechanics of PvP, but it doesn't make this any less annoying. I believe potions, especially healing potions, should share the same cooldown. I think it's kind of annoying that healing potions, regeneration potions, and regeneration food all have separate buffs and separate categories of buffs, to the point where you could just infinitely stack regeneration alongside insta-heals. But that's my only gripe with that. I kind of wish it was all a one uniform thing for balance purposes, but that's just my thoughts and the only thing I really want to talk about when it comes to food. It's not a huge deal, but it is a noticeable annoyance in my opinion. And now that we're on the topic with Outpost Rush, I want to propose some Outpost Rush team balance ideas, because Outpost Rush within itself is a awesome mode regardless of the balance issues, but they recently did something that made it worse. They try to stop spawn trapping by making you hold X on this wall, similar to a war camp or anything of that sort if you've been in war or invasions. So with this, they make it so you can't get spawn trapped, but you have to hold X and go on the other side of this barrier. Well, this makes it easier for enemies to spawn trap you, because they could just sit outside this barrier and blender you to death. If you don't know what that means, a blender is where they condense everybody in a singular spot, either with gravity well or with maelstrom. Any type of AoE attacks that keep you locked in place the second you come out that door, you're gonna die. And you can't even defend yourself. But before, even though you're getting spawn trapped, you could still fight back. And now it's just a constant cycle of leave the door, die, leave the door, die. I kind of wish they would just have the old system back in place, but you have like a 10-second spawn immunity. Maybe not that long, maybe shorter, depending on balance issues. I'm not a game developer. But I do believe the new system had a good intention, but just terrible execution and was not very well thought out. But in terms of Outpost Rush, I do want to propose a team balance idea, which is during Outpost Rush, it's meant to be slightly competitive. You're supposed to have fun. But at the end of the day, you want it to be fair. And right now, in a 20v20 mode with a random queue on the server, it is very... It's not always fun matches. I have clips on screen in 9 games out of 10. It's heavy armor tanks versus a bunch of casters, and the heavy armor tanks just wipe the floor with people. I'm proposing with Outpost Rush, you should be getting a 7-7-6 split. And what do I mean by this? Well, both teams have 20 players, and if each team has a 7-7-6 split, meaning 7 light armors, 7 medium armors, and 6 heavy armors that are queued and separated to each team, these games would be a lot more enjoyable. They would have a lot more strategy involved, and I think it would just be overall healthier for the game. Now, a lot of people aren't going to like this because they're going to be like, I'm going to sit in longer queues. I'm not going to have as much fun. Not as many people are going to want to play because everyone's heavy armor. Well, with merges coming, there's going to be a lot more populations per servers. Maybe my split idea would work in theory in a perfect world, but it's just an idea at the end of the day. I don't like how Outpost Rush is so divided and randomized to the point where the game just started, but you don't even want to play the 40-minute game because you clearly see your team is at the armor disadvantage and you don't have a full-on group like the other team does. So hopefully something like that would make Outpost Rush a little bit more enjoyable for me, and I hope the general player base notices this as well. Maybe my games are just unlucky, but it is a glaring issue that I've seen so far. Another thing I do want to touch on that not a lot of people are talking about, but every time I seem to bring up the word life staff or healer on this channel, I seem to get a mob of hate of people telling me to go back to DPS. So I'm going to try to be as clear and simple with this as I can. One big issue I have right now with the life staff, not that it's overpowered, not that it takes no skill, not that it's overperforming. None of that whatsoever. For me, I do not like this skill right here. Light's Embrace. Why don't I like this skill? Great skill on paper, great damage, well, great healing, I should say, but it is a little too strong. And why do I say this? Well, your average guy that's running a strength constitution build, he's not spec'ing the focus whatsoever, correct? Okay. Now, when you put on this life staff, and now your average life staff only does 500 damage with no focus, right? Not a lot of damage, nothing whatsoever. Now, not a lot of people know this, but you get 80% of your weapon damage healed onto yourself, but plus 30% more healing on top of every buff that you have. Now, even if you have a bottom of the barrel 500 damage life staff, and you have no focus spec, you could get such a high healing output with this because there is multiple skills that when holding a life staff, you get passive buffs. And just with this build alone, I get 2 passive buffs when holding my life staff, so I get an additional 60% healing on top of my 80%, and I'm already at 140% by doing nothing. 140% healing on myself. If I hit my 3 heavy attacks on my life staff, I could get another 30% on top of that. And even with Magnify, when you heal a target with Light's Embrace, you extend the duration of life staff buffs. So it makes it easier to keep these buffs on you. And on top of that, Beacon counts as a buff because you get regeneration and you get haste. So that's 4 buffs. 4 buffs equaling 120% on top of this 80%. And you're already at 200% healing. You're not a healer. You're not focus spec'd. You have nothing that benefits healing in any way. This is all internally within the life staff, giving any general player that wants to use it as a stat stick to just basically pocket heal yourself. But my problem is they don't have to spec into focus whatsoever to maintain this healing. They don't have to be a focus healer. They don't have to have any special gear. They could just do it. And anyone could do it. Try it yourself. If you're a heavy armor or anything, put on the life staff with this build that I see on screen right here. You could even do it better. You can get more buffs with Orb of Protection. Your goal is just to get as many buffs as possible and infinite heal yourself. And you're like, well, even if it is 300% healing, it's not viable term. Well, when I have only one refreshing perk and it's a 3.8 second cooldown, and most people are using full refreshing to where it's like a 2.5 second cooldown, if you could heal yourself for 3,000 health every 2 seconds, what's the point of having a healer on your team if you're a self-sufficient beast? You know what I mean? It's cool. I like to see it happen, but if we're talking from a balance standpoint, this is just too much. It is too much, and I see it too often. It's very overperforming in my opinion. I might split some people on what I think about with this, but in all honesty, I am just not a big fan of it. I don't like how you could just simply become a god healer without putting no effort into the actual healing perks itself. And now there's many other bugs within this game. Outpost Rush has a very, very fast movement speed bug right now that actually happened to my friend Papa. I'll pop it on screen. He was using Berserk on a hatchet and he died, and it procced this bug, and now he's basically Barry Allen running down the road, and yeah, that's a bug within itself. He wasn't hacking. It was just simply a stupid bug, and a lot of people are using it. And it's very annoying because they could capture points rather quickly. Their attack speed is faster, and it's a whole bunch of phooey. I haven't seen it in Wars. I don't think it's like repeatable in wars, but from what I know of, it's just there and it's an issue. Now, there is one more thing I want to talk about from a light armor player's perspective. If you're in medium or heavy, you probably don't understand this, or it doesn't really apply to you, but that is damage over time effects when you are using light armor. Now, light armor is meant to be the weakest armor in the game. It is meant to basically suck in terms of actually absorbing damage. But when it comes to damage over time effects, I feel like it hits a little too hard. Now, let me explain. I don't know if it's just me because I only have 50 constitution and maybe I am just crying. But with my build and my setup, even with 7,800 health, I know I have light armor. If I get musket shot with powder burn, it's hard to heal through. I get hit for about 2,000 instantly. Then I have around a 12-second burn that ticks for 300 a tick. And that's like over another 3,000 damage easily. I can't out-heal that with a potion solo. I can't out-eat that. I'm going to need a healer, right? And with light armor, this is just a major annoyance. If I get poison shot with a bow and he's running a poison build, I'm getting like 30 seconds of poison over time that deals 200 damage a tick. I'm going to die. Just from getting that small little damage over time, I basically lost my whole life and I have to respawn. I know inherently light armor is not meant to be the strongest armor in the game, but damage over time seems to be its biggest hindrance. Even with elemental damage resistance like myself, I do run all opals because it's just elemental resistance and elemental damage absorption. And you can even see down here, I only have 629. It comes to the point where it's less of a balance thing for me and more of a inconvenience, to the point where, oh, I got a poison proc, I'm basically on a timer of when I'm going to die unless one of my healers can save my life. You know what I mean? I don't like that kind of gameplay loop, and it kind of sucks that a lot of light armors have to deal with that. But I do know there is a jewelry roll to where when you proc below half health and you have a damage over time effect, it removes it. I have to say, if you're wearing light armor, this is a must in 99% of situations, but I would like to see damage over time get a slight, like, not as much towards light armors, because if we get hit by one of those, we're basically dead, like I said, and it kind of makes for a annoying gameplay loop. Now, there is a lot of other things I would have loved to talk about in today's video, like how I've seen people in heavy armor doing light dodge rolls and being tanky in light armor with full constitution and somehow hitting me for like 3,000 damage. Yeah, El Dorado's a weird place, man. And, you know, there's a lot of other things, like I said, I want to talk about, like bots with an Outpost rush ruining the gameplay experience, throwing the games for you, even though your team is the better team. But I don't want to make this video too long. I want you guys to get on with your day. If you want to see a part 2 to this video, please let me know in the comments down below, because I know there is a lot of things I do want to talk about in New World. And I kind of want to sway away from the negativity of this game, but I, at the same time, want to be honest and upfront with you guys when it comes to my thoughts on the game and things I'd like to see fixed. But in all honesty, you guys let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree with me in any sort of way? Do you want to make a 10-paragraph Reddit post on how its turn mix sucks at New World? Make sure you link me the Reddit post. That would be pretty nice. But yeah, guys, if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure you guys leave a like on it, as it helps me out a lot and spreads my videos out more to the New World community. Make sure you guys subscribe so you never miss out on another video from me. Happy holidays, guys. Hope you have a terrific day and terrific holidays. And I will see you guys later.